Welcome friends. Today we're doing a class called Happy Shoulders, Happy Hips. We're going to tend to both and everything in between. So what I'd like to set you up with is your prop list. So we're going to use a few different balls this morning. We're going to use this ball. It's about 6 inches in diameter and it's made of foam, just like the foam roller. So it's squishy but has some firmness to it to help support you. And then we're also going to use our pinky ball, which is similar to a tennis ball if you don't have one of these. And then finally, we're going to use our magic circle. So combining all of those, we're going to get into some really good feel-good work. If you don't have the 6-inch ball, again, you can use a foam roller and that would work just as well. It's just a slightly different contour and feel. So we're going to get started now with the blue ball or the 6-inch ball. And we're going to set it up so that we can put our glutes on it. So you'll set it up here and then lift up and lower your left cheek onto the ball, and we're going to massage that surface. I'll turn to the side so you can see better where I'm at and what's happening. So what I'd like you to do is just go anywhere and everywhere in that surface that calls to you to massage. Circles are good, you know, sort of pausing in any one tender spot is also a great option. I also want you to try to go to every corner of that region to feel into it. So moving towards your sit bones, that's where I'm at right now, getting the ball down near your sit bones. And since it's such a sort of curvy and yet not too broad of a surface, you can really kind of pinpoint where that sit bone is and then go around the sit bone. So it's like you're kind of circling that point. You can go all the way around or just kind of go partway around each side. So you're just checking in, and then you're going to move the ball sort of by way of you rolling or repositioning it towards that upper glute. Now moving towards the low back, but not into it. You're still sort of feeling into that rim of that ilium, that big pelvic bone that moves sort of around the back towards the front. And then you're going to take yourself maybe down onto your elbow. That's what feels best in my body, and move towards the outside of the hip. So you're going to be on, for those of you that are anatomy buffs, you're going to move on to your gluteus medius. And I'm just sort of stepping and moving all over the place to get comfortable and give myself support. Your feet and legs can be doing just about anything that makes them feel comfortable. And so you might discover some really tender stuff there. And I don't want to, you know, treat you or lead you as if you should be moving as fast as I am or as carefree. If it's really tender, go slow, breathe through it, pause again if you need to in any of those places that are particularly tender, and breathe. And then when you're ready, we can move to the other side. Okay, so we'll set up on the left. I'm sorry, we did the left, we're doing the right now. And we're going to massage again. And for some of you, this might feel kind of like ho-hum, but for many of us, we have some soreness in our glutes that is really indicative of our, you know, imbalances. And for me, my left side is a little more tender and tight today. So I'm going to spend a little extra time, you know, mindfully tracing out those places that are tender and giving them some TLC. If yours was your right side, you're welcome to stay there a little longer. I'm moving now up to the upper glute, and we'll be making my way over to the side. So be in no rush, listen to your body. Again, breathe through what's intense, because that's really part of how we're going to let go of some of this tension. It's not just the ball's job, it's some combination of pressure and our ability to let go. And so it's kind of a mental thing. And so if you can, your breath and your mind have a strong relationship. So if you find yourself, say, on a tender spot, which I can just do right here, you can let your breath come in. And then as you exhale, sort of really let this be a whole being let go. Like you're just letting down your armor, letting the ball have access to that part of your body rather than fighting it, right? You can kind of have this like resistance to the ball, and that's where you're just kind of getting in your own way and diminishing the benefit of the massage you're doing. But of course, it's still good for you even if you aren't an expert at mindfully letting go. Just giving you that opportunity to practice into that. Okay, so when you are feeling rather good about what you've done with the ball, we'll take it out of the way, set it aside, and now it's time to play with our magic circle. So to set up for what's next, we're going to lie all the way down and then step your right foot into the ring and just organize around that position. And position it so that your ball of your foot is against the pad as opposed to the heel or the arch. And then you can let your left leg just kind of softly bend rather than straighten just yet. And then bring your own hand, in particular your thumb, to the top of your thigh bone where it meets your body, that crease where your thigh and pelvis meet, and just see if you can pull down. Pull your thigh bone down towards the foot end of your mat. So you're elongating the right side of your waist and feel into that stretch. And if you need to add a little bit of arm activation to feel a stretch, that means you're pulling your leg closer to your body. You just don't have to come with a hip hike that pulls your hip up towards your upper body. And so just reaching that right hip long and low, and then stay with that, but move both hands to the ring and start to add some ankle work. Point and flex that foot. And now I invite you to really create some power in the arms. Make your calf and foot work. So this means, yes, work with the arms, but try not to let that turn into upper neck and shoulder, chest stuff. So pull your shoulders into the mat and down away from your ears. And then see if you can add in the foot. So it's not just happening as a hinge from the ankle, but as you point your foot, you're going to add that point of the toes that kind of adds some cupping to your underside of your foot. And then flex and really draw yourself into the stretch. A couple more like that. And flex. And point. And flex. And then hold in the flex position. Feel all 5 toes coming back equally. And then we're going to just internally and externally rotate the leg in the hip socket. So it's going to spin right at the joint, that ball and socket joint, so it has all this capability. And then you're going to spin it so that the toes are out, the knee is out. Slide your left leg out to straight. Drop that right hip towards your foot end of the mat, and then let the leg cross over. And whew, that could be an intense sensation as a sort of neutral way to put it. And so just feel into that energy and just notice it's there, and offer it some opportunity to like melt some tension and dissolve some stuckness, and just breathe to keep your energy smooth and your mind calm. And then we'll bring the leg back to the center. And now we're going to warm up your hamstrings a little bit. So you're going to use your arms to create resistance. So, you know, you might be at the gym and doing leg presses and get the same sort of power in your legs. So you might visualize that, but otherwise use your arms as that resistance. Pull with the arms, bend the knee, and then stretch the leg back up towards straight. And for this exercise, I want your foot to stay sort of flexed and level with the ceiling. Meaning, like you could imagine your foot was standing on the ceiling and the ceiling is lowering and lifting, and it's heavy, so you're going to feel some work in those muscles. So the back of the leg starts to turn on and stretch. All these good things. So one more time like that. And then we'll lengthen the leg, let it move out, follow it up, nod the chin, roll through the spine, and find that roll to seated. Awesome. At the top, pull your heart up and forward, pull your shoulders back and down, and just stay there for a moment. Reach into the heel, see if you can get your toes to fold back towards your knee just a little bit more. Gaze out over the horizon. And then push into the heel, pull the abdominals back, and really roll through the spine on the way down, getting that extra sort of ease in the back of the body. And then pull the leg overhead and follow it up. Lift and stretch and curl the way back down. Push through that heel. Reach the right sit bone towards the left foot. more time. As you roll, at this time stay, and then lift the chest and hold. We're going to switch our grip, so you're going to hold just the ring with just the left hand, and I recommend coming inside the ring and doing like a bicep curl. So you're holding on and pulling the ring towards you, and then take your right hand up to the sky and around and back. So you're going to twist away from your foot. Keep reaching through that heel and really reach back through that right arm. And then you can circle it back to the ring. Hold with both hands once more, and then push out through the heel, all the way down to the mat. Awesome job. We're going to switch legs now. You can do that in the air or on the mat. So for this setup, you're going to keep the knee slightly bent to start, and then take your left hand thumb into that fold at the hip and drag that sit bone down towards the opposite foot. So you're stretching that left side of your waist. And then from there, you can start to move the ankle. Hello. Okay, right here. And move with that energy. So your arms are active, your shoulders are back and down, and your foot is also included in the movement. So when you flex the foot, all 5 toes really pull back. And then when you point the foot, you go past just the ankle and use your foot to kind of add that extra curvature to the foot, stretching out the top of the foot. So we have just no end to surfaces or areas that can accumulate some tightness. The underside of the foot too, but the top of the foot as well. And then take it into that flexed foot position. And we're going to spin the leg internally and externally. Good. And then we'll take it into the turnout, toes out, and then slowly move the right leg out to straight. Reaffirm that that left hip is still dropping down the mat, and then cross the leg over your midline. So you're having a lovely stretch into that IT band, and you're going to hold that for just a couple of seconds. Okay, so you've gotten just a lot of quality time with that left IT band, and then you can come back to center, and then we're going to warm up the hamstring by finding that power in the arms, reach into the leg, flex that foot, and then bend the knee and pull your knee in towards your chest. And instead of letting your foot come down towards your pelvis, bring it up and over so it can kind of come overhead, and then press the leg back up towards the ceiling. If it doesn't come all the way to straight, that's okay. And I know some of you, like Samantha, you're going to be using the TheraBand for this, just because it's a better fit for your body. So consider that an option. And repeat. And lengthen. 2 more. You're warming up that leg. You're trying to really give it a chance to work into some nice sort of melted fluid power. And then the leg starts long. We move it away, nod the chin, and follow it up to our seated position. At the top, lift the chest, hold there, and really find the shoulders and soften them down and back. And then pull the chest even further forward, really maximize the engagement of this position. You have the arms to assist you, so the leg and the hamstrings are not having to hold themselves up, but there's other things at work, right? So keep that and reach through that heel, all 5 toes stretching back, and then push into the heel, really push through that heel to create space on the left side of your body as you roll down. And then bring the ring overhead, and then nod the chin and follow it back up. Find that flow through your body, that flow with your breath that gives you a smoothness to your movement. When you notice yourself holding your breath, you'll tend to notice some gripping energy in your body. So just paying extra attention to that can give you just a little bit more of a fluid experience in your body and in your mind as well. Okay, so we're going to take the ring and release the foot, and then I'm going to have you take the ring now behind the head. So we're going to support the back of the head with the inner padding of the ring, and then we're going to use that pad just at the base of the skull. So that means that you are not pulling on the top of the head and creating a real sort of fold at the front of the neck, and try to keep a long neck. And then you're going to press your hands into the ring and feel at the same time your shoulders slide away from your ears. So it's just this sense of bringing your shoulder blades towards your back pockets, or your armpits kind of actively sliding sort of forward in space, elbows reaching towards the ceiling. And you're just going to let this give you some support as you start to move into some upper abdominal curls. Let it be simple at first. I know the arms can often feel a little complicated, but just see if you can kind of ease the neck and feel some energy move down into the trunk. That's where we move from here. And then we're going to take that into the next one and hold, and then stay with this. You're going to just keep breathing, and on the exhale, sink your bottom ribs and curl a little deeper. So you use your breath to help you soften some of the rigidity, and do that again as you exhale. Try to melt down as you flex, and one more time. Now you're right in that sweet spot, that high upper abdominal curl. We're going to add a march on each exhale. Stay in that nice high elevation with your exhale, continuing to drop your ribs down and give you that extra movement in your spine. We're going to do that one more each side, and then bring it in, land the feet down, and release the head and shoulders. Making a switch again, you're going to bring the ring out in front of you, and we're going to connect the left knee. And let's just start with the right hand. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I want to make sure I think this through. So you're going to connect the left knee and the left hand, and then you're going to take your right arm straight up to the sky and your right knee into tabletop. So everything's off of the mat. If that causes you any strain, just keep the right foot on the mat. Now you're going to pull the abdominals in and go ahead and land your low back on the mat. And then while you do this, you're going to start to move. Inhale, reach your arm and leg out to diagonals, and exhale, pull it back in. And inhale, reach and pull in. And reach and pull in 2 more times. And in, and 1 more time. And then we're going to go ahead and land. Make the switch now. Take your right knee and right hand to the ring, and if your hand and knee don't feel like a good match, you could put it against your forearm just so that the ring is more level. And then hover your left arm straight up over your shoulder. Find that deep abdominal strength and float your left knee up. Press into the ring with both arm and knee, and then land your low back on the mat. From here, reach out, not necessarily super low. If you take your leg really low, you might really lose your low abdominals and move into your low back. Reach and come in, and reach and come in. 2 more, and 1 more, and then bring it in and land your left foot down. Okay, so now we are going to do the crossbody pattern, which is left knee and then right elbow. And that makes for a bit of a pretzel, but you're going to find your way into it by taking your hands to the back of your head, holding your left leg in a soft knee bend, and then curl a little deeper and start to feel into the engagement of your elbow and your knee, both pressing into the ring. Don't let your leg have all the fun. Use your upper body to twist and bring yourself up. Try to find that higher elevation in your upper abdominal curl. Stay with it. And we'll do 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. And go ahead and unwind from there and lower down. Switching sides. Left elbow, right knee.
hands behind the head, and then spiral your shoulders and think about your rib cage and the center of your upper body spinning on the mat too. And then connect into that ring with both knee and elbow and breathe. And try to again power on and move a little deeper into your ab curl and into your twist. So it's both things, forward and twist. And 2 more breaths. And 1 more. And then release down. Awesome job. Take the ring in your hands now and stretch the shoulders up towards the ceiling and back down. And up and release down, and then up and down one last time. Hold the shoulders against the mat and down away from the ears. Press into the ring. Hold there and sway your knees to the right as you and your ring and your arms rather go to the left. And then squeeze into the ring as you come center. And spin the other direction. Keep that energy in the arms and spin center. We're going to do that a couple more times each direction. And again, twist and center. And okay, and last one. And then come on back to center. And then we're going to take the ring and place it between the inner thighs so that it's now just above the knees. And then bring your feet a little narrower than your knees. So they don't have to be all the way in parallel, but we want them to be a little narrower so that when you squeeze the ring, your knees and feet end up in alignment if possible. And then we're going to just play with that. Go ahead and squeeze the ring a few times. Feel into the effort there. And then we're going to take the breath and add to it some quality. So as you inhale, knees open. Exhale, we engage. And as you exhale, feel into that breath that helps connect you to your core. It's just this like sort of drawing inward. It's not just at your belly button, for example. It's the whole circumference of your waist. It's like it got cinched a little bit, like your drawstring pulled a little tighter. And you're going to just do that a couple more times, feeling into that core connection. And then hold the next one. Now stay there. And on your inhale, open your right knee only. Keep your left knee right where it is. Exhale, squeeze center. Inhale, left knee only. Exhale, squeeze back to the middle. Keep it about your core. Inhale, open. Exhale, center and open. And center. 2 more each side. Feel your foot as it turns out to the edge, the outer edge, knee opens, last one each side, and then left side, and then feel how your feet land nice and level on the mat. Take a nice deep breath in, and on the exhale, bridge up. We're going to do neutral bridging here. If you can't seem to find a neutral bridge in your body, that's okay, because we are pretty well trained in articulated bridge, but if you can, you're just going to hover the hips up, press them to the sky, then fold at the hips to come down, and press and fold, and press and fold, and 2 more, press and fold, and 1 more, press and fold, and release. Take those knees wide, release the ring. Take your right foot back into the ring and let your left knee fall open as your right leg stretches out to the right. So we're here for that inner thigh stretch. A straight leg to begin with. Breathe into that. Flex and point the foot a few times to feel how that shifts the stretch. And then keep your leg out to the right, but bend your elbow and bring your knee towards your armpit. So it's like a half of a happy baby, which is an unfortunate image. So it's just a half of the stretch, the happy baby stretch. So you're holding that position and just breathing into what feels good about that. And then bring your legs center. And again, we'll switch sides. So left foot into the ring, right knee will fall open as your left leg stretches out to the side. And we'll breathe there. Soften what's grippy. Flex and point the foot a handful of times. And just, it's really amazing how that plays into how that stretch feels. You'll feel it pulling and tightening and releasing in different areas of your stretch. And then bend the knee with the flexed foot and pull the elbow wide into the side, and you'll feel into some different muscle fibers of your inner thighs. Like I said, so much to stretch. Okay, bring yourself back to the center. And now I'm going to have you set the ring aside and just take your knees into your chest and rock and roll up to seated. We're going to take, I'm going to take a layer off, and then we're going to use the ring to help us warm up and give our shoulders and arms some good strength. So you're going to take any position, kneeling or seated, and take the ring out in front of you. Give it a good squeeze and release, and squeeze and release. Feel that coming from, as best you can, the root of the arm, really under the armpits, rather than just the hands or the wrists. And let it be soft enough that it doesn't feel strenuous or straining on any of your joints, because if you get too aggressive, you'll feel some joint effort, and you're not going to change the shape of the ring much at all, right? So from there, squeeze and hold, and just float the arms up to the sky and lower back down. Now, your arms might not be able to be straight here, but as best you can, work towards it. So if you're softening your elbows to keep your neck from being tense, see if you can keep the soft shoulders, and then feel what it's like to squeeze your upper arm bones just in towards your ears. So shoulders stay down, but upper arm bones in towards your ears, and then lower and lift a few times with that engagement. So again, it's not as though you have to straighten your arms, but working towards that will help you stretch what's tight that's holding you back from being able to get your arms straight in the first place. Okay, and then hold there. We're going to move to the inside of the ring, hands to the inner padding, and then pull the ring apart. You're just going to continuously pull it apart and reach the arms up towards the sky. Still finding, as much as you can, a straight arm so that you have the sort of opportunity to work something here even while we're stretching. And two more. And one more. And then release. Take the ring to the back of the body. So for this, it'll be best if you're up, standing, or kneeling. I'm going to stay kneeling just so I'm in the camera view most visibly. And then you're just going to stretch the shoulders back. While the shoulders roll back, pull the abdominals in so that we don't lose that spine in that neutral position, and then start to move the ring back. Good. And we're starting with this because it's kind of like what we do often with the legs. It's warm up those big muscles first, because it's just really a good way of generating heat, and letting this area warm up is good so we can release some tension. And then we're going to just take the arms back and hold, and see if you can add to it, stretching the fingers long. If not, that's okay, but straightening the hands out requires even more support from the shoulders. And then go ahead and rest. Now we're going to take the ring to the upper arm bones, sort of setting it up while we're upright, and then make our way to our mat in an all fours position. And once you're there, see if you can find the soft elbow that allows the ring to be, its full shape, and then squeeze your upper arm bones together or towards the center to put a squeeze on the ring, but just simply to straighten the arms. So we're using our biceps, or our triceps rather, to straighten our arms here, and it's going to really help support us in some really quality movement. And then you're just going to keep the squeeze and round the spine, head and tail curling under, and then keep the squeeze and reach your chest forward. And you're going to run into the ring a little bit. Just kind of see if you can you know, move despite that contact. Don't let it distract you. Don't let it slow you down. Round the spine, and then again extend. And this effort in the arms is intended to help us again feel some of those layers of tension start to melt and warm up. So lift up out of the wrist, pull your heart forward, shoulders down and back, long through the neck, and round. And then stretch your spine out to neutral. Stay right there. We're going to slide the right leg back, toes tucked under, and then float the foot off the mat. Keeping the hips level, you're going to swing the leg out to the right and then bring it back in towards your midline. Keeping the spine nice and stable, keeping the arms really active, keeping those biceps pressing in towards your midline. And 3 more. And 2. And 1. And then bend the knee. Take your toes towards the ceiling. And then keep the toes lifting as you circle the knee out to the side and around and down. And then send the toes up and back. Again, keep going. 2 more. 1 more. And reverse. Circle wide, up and back. Squeeze the ring. Lift up out of the wrists. 2 more. Last one. And then land the knee down. Let's reach the hips back towards the heels. Take the ring out in front and just stretch into a child's pose. Take a few breaths, allowing some of that energy to dissipate. And then we'll slowly roll up and reset. So biceps support the ring, and then we'll place the hands on the mat. Give yourself the most comfortable position and then squeeze into the ring to really make it powerful. And then we'll stretch the left leg back, shoulders down, chest forward, and then hover the leg off the mat, open it out to the left, draw it back in, and open and draw in. Notice how your arms will waffle and bend, and you're going to just stay committed to keeping them straight. Hold there, bend the knee, toes up to the sky, lift and circle, and lift and circle, and lift and circle. 2 more. Last one, that direction, and reverse. Circle open and together, and open and together. 3 and 2 and 1, and hold. Landing both knees down. Make sure you are absolutely comfy with your setup. And then you're going to take your toes tucked under, squeeze the ring, hover the knees, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Let the elbows soften, and again squeeze in and hover the knees up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, soften the elbows. Last time, we squeeze in and hover up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Land the knees, land the toes down, and take the ring around to the back of the body. Reach it back, and then bow your forehead towards the mat. Let the shoulders stretch up and back, and just let that feel good. If you need to be here, that's great here. Stretching the chest here. And then lift the ring towards the sky, reaching your heart forward and up. And we're going to reset the ring to the side. Now, it's time for our pinky ball. We're going to use it under the shoulders. So, does everybody have one of these? Okay. So if you didn't have one of these, you could use your roller to massage your shoulders. It'll just look different. So I'm not seeing anyone in that situation. But what I'll do is I'll talk you through this and then just remind you what you'll do on the roller. If you don't have a pinky ball, you're going to lie on the roller with your head at one end and your tail at the other.
and do things like the angels in the snow arms that we're going to do together. And speaking of, since we're going to move our arms a fair amount, make sure your props are all sort of out of arm's reach, okay? So what we'll do is we'll start lying down on our back, and we're going to do the left shoulder first so you can kind of see too. We're going to tuck it under the upper trap, just sort of at the place where, you know, the side, just behind, let's see, from your ear down to your shoulder, just behind that. So, you know, that upper musculature that can get so tight and also feels so good to get a little TLC and massage. So it's going to actually be kind of visible out of the top of the shoulder where we start. You could move it down eventually. We're going to work our way down rather than jump into the lower position. So we don't want to miss this stuff. This upper stuff really often needs our attention and it's hard to get to. So we'll start by just taking the left arm through a few movements. So I'm going for a first thing straight arm from side body up towards the ceiling and overhead. And just through doing that, you might feel how the ball is starting to penetrate different muscle fibers, or it's getting into the muscles a little more deeply as you move through these various ranges. Yeah? And only do what feels safe and totally comfortable. Like for me, this side is tight and tender, but it still feels good. Now we're doing angels in the snow, just the left arm. And you'll still feel some of that stuff at the top more than at the bottom, but it's different the way we're moving our arm. Okay? And then bringing the arm back to our sides. Now what you're going to do is you're going to peel up into a bridge. Just by raising your hips, you've changed the angle onto the ball. And you're going to do those same two movements, up and overhead. Ooh, yeah. It's sore. And then lower back down. And do that at least 3 times. And if your arm doesn't make it all the way back, you stop wherever you get to a place that feels like you're done, you know, like it hurts, or you just feel like it's just not going to go any farther. And then 3 of these out to the side, angels in the snow. Okay. And 1 more. And then lower the arm and lower the hips. Now we could spend a lot more time on the shoulders, and I'd love to, but just to keep you moving, I'm going to just do 1 more position. So you'll lift up a little bit and tuck the ball a little further down towards your back pockets, like an inch, not a big shift. And then just try the same ranges, the same motions, arms straight up and back. And I've already confided in you, my left shoulder is really tight. So this is pretty intense. So if you feel that way too, you're not alone. And again, like if you find any place especially at the top that feels pinchy, then you can back off. Don't push into that pain. And then angels in the snow, moving out to the sides and back in. If it's tender and it feels okay to be there, this could be a really beneficial, powerful release to some of what's causing that shoulder to be so tight. Okay, so we're going to finish there and let the left shoulder have a little rest and reprieve. And then just while you're sitting here, if you can find a safe place for that pinky ball, try both arms moving out to the sides and see how that feels. So that feels a lot freer on the left side. So now we're going to go on to the other side. You'll position the ball under the top of the right shoulder and feel into that. And then once you have that position, you can start to move the right arm up and overhead. Good. So about 3 of those, and then 3 with your arms circling out to the side. Okay. And then the next thing you'll do is, with your knees bent, bridge up by lifting your hips away from the mat. You then are going to get a little deeper into those upper traps. And you'll do the same motions
Arms raising up to the sky and overhead. And after 3 of those, you'll do 3 angels in the snow. And if you end up doing 4 or 5, that's also good. It's all up to you. What feels good. And then we'll finish by doing that again with the ball in one more position, just a little further down. So arm reaches up and overhead. Oy vey. They're both tight. And down one more time. And then we circle. So we're doing this just per a friendly request from one of you guys, but it turns out to be something that I needed as well, so thank you. And then we're going to take the ball out from under the shoulder and just let the arms rest here a moment. And let's do a bridge. So you're going to take your spine and peel it up off of the mat and then lower it back down. And we'll do that again, peeling up and holding. And then take your arms overhead, reaching through the fingertips, soften the shoulders, soften the ribs, and roll all the way down. And then let's do the same thing through the spine, peeling up into your bridge. Breathe in at the top, and then exhale to roll back down. One more, just giving those big lat muscles a stretch and letting the shoulders and the spine go through this really nice flow together. Okay, so now we're going to take our arms by our sides and press into the sides of the arms, so pinky finger up towards the shoulder, so your palms face in. And first thing first, I want you to try to bring the joint of your shoulder back into the mat, and then all the way down the arm, even to the wrist and to the pinky finger. And then start to curl the tail under, peel up into your bridge. Check in with those arms and shoulders. Can you feel all of it connect? So not just the hands, but the shoulders too. And then melt your ribs down towards the mat, and the rest of your spine follows. And then curl the tail under and peel up. And then curl the tail under and roll back down. Okay, one more time, peeling up and through just like that. And then scoop and roll down. Take for me now the magic circle. So for some, it might be out of reach, apologies. And then we're going to take it and set it up between our ankles. So that means we're going to float the legs off of the mat. For some of you, that might be a little too extreme, and you can do the whole series we're about to do with your feet on the mat, either with the ring there between your ankles or with your ring between your knees. Okay, so from there, bring your knees close into your body. That just takes a lot of the effort out of holding the legs up. And then take your hands around to the back of your head. Soften the shoulders and just notice what's different there. Feels a little better in my body. And then you're going to just try to find a nice full breath in. As you exhale, curl up with the upper body. From here, you're going to take another breath, and on the exhale, stretch the legs out towards straight and bend. So they're going straight up towards the ceiling. And we're going to try to find that low abdominal connection. Pull back from the ring. As the toes go to the sky, the abdominals draw down into the spine. And then from there, hold at the top, and you're going to rotate the ring as you hold that ab curl. And then finish there. Bend the knees, head and shoulders rest down. We'll be doing that again with another addition. So if you're doing that with the knees on the mat, or feet on the mat, what you'll do is you'll just follow us into the next exercise. We're adding upper body rotation. The feet will be stationary. And then from here, take another breath, and on the exhale, curl up with the upper body. Find your exhale and stretch the legs to straight. And then you're going to bring the right leg forward, left leg away, and twist towards the right leg. And twist. And twist. and twist. And then bend your knees and come all the way in. Let's set the feet on the mat once more, and then take your ring still at your ankles and walk your feet in a little narrower so you can feel into a squeeze from the inner ankle up to the pelvic floor. Reach those arms long, press the sides of your arms into the mat from the shoulders all the way down, and curl the tail under, peeling up into your bridge. From here, hold, and we're going to go into hip dip, spinning your left hip high and then your right. Keep the inner border of your feet really connected into the mat, so you're not letting the ring push you off to the outside of your foot. It takes a good deal of concentration and effort up the inner thighs. And then lower your spine down to the mat. Okay. So what we're going to do next is try something with everybody that's familiar. And then some of you will choose to keep going with that exercise, and others of you might choose to advance on what I'm hoping to offer those of you that are ready and interested, a full rollover today, just because it's fun when it feels good. And for those of you that don't feel like rolling, and especially inversions are the wisest choice for you today, I'm going to give you an alternative. So we've done a lot of bridging already that you can use any bridging option as a good sort of alternative. But in the meantime, we're all going to start with the ring between our knees and then our hands behind our head. So you're going to start with a nice deep breath in and exhale, curl up. And then from here, you're just going to stay with this, adding maybe a little squeeze to the ring, and we're going to do pelvic clocking. So this is sort of phase one, where you could just stay with this. And then phase two, if you feel like you can manage that, is straight legs. And that's what you can also be doing. And then bend the knees, rest down. And then phase three is going to be the rollover with the ring at the ankles. So whichever choice you want to make, set up for that now. So the first two phases, the ring is at the knees and your feet are off the mat. And then the option spoken of before is feet on the mat. But what we're all going to do is we're going to press the back of the arms into the mat and try to go into that same motion, whether it's clocking with bent knees or clocking with straight legs, with the arms active into the mat from the shoulders down to the sides of the hand. And then for those of you going into the rollover with me, you'll stretch the legs long, take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, scoop and curl the tail under and roll up. Take a breath there, squeeze into the ring, and exhale to roll back down, pressing into the back of the arms the whole way through. The legs can lower just a little bit, and we'll go into the next one, pressing into the back of the arms, squeezing into the ring, and rolling back down. If you're doing hip ups, keep going. We're just doing one more. Squeeze the ring and roll all the way back down. Arms active the whole time. Everybody rest, bend your knees, step your feet to the mat. Let's take your arms straight up to the sky, and we're going to lengthen the legs out to straight. Flex the feet and take them a little bit apart. Inhale, squeeze into the ring as you reach back. Exhale, squeeze into the ring as you reach forward, and we're rolling all the way up. Inhale here, exhale, squeeze, and roll back down. Press into the sides of the ring as you roll through your spine. Inhale the arms back, and we'll come right back up. Stretching towards your toes. For those of you that benefit from having a pad under your low back, go ahead and use that. If your knees are better off bent, by all means, bend them here. If you can, keep the legs straight, reaching through the heels. Stretch the entire back line here, and then squeeze into the ring. Roll back down. One more time, all the way to the top. This time, reach the arms up to the sky as you sit up nice and tall, and then lower the arms down. So if you can, keep the legs straight, by all means, but if you need to bend your knees at all here, go right ahead. We're going to take the ring to the front of our chest, so it's like pressing into that firm sort of lower rib
section, and then lift your chest, squeeze the ring. Take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, we're going to twist to the left or right, and then spin to the other side. Good. And keep going, alternating sides. And then finish the center. Set the ring aside, and we're going to take the legs into our Z-sit position. So you'll fold the right leg in front and the left shin will be folded back. And then take your arms out to the sides. Take yourself first to the left, so you're going towards the shin folded back. Feel into that right side stretch. And then stack up. Take your right hand down, reach your hips forward and your left arm long and overhead. Lift up out of that right wrist and shoulder. Then we'll flow 2 more times in each direction. And land and reach. And lower and side bend. 1 more time, land and reach. And then we'll lower the hips. Swing the legs around to the other side. And set up for our second stretch. Reaching the arms long, side bend right. Feel into that whole left side. Soften the shoulder on the right. And then flow. And we'll take that big diagonal stretch. Press your right hip forward. And then lower down and flow to the other side. And we keep moving, keep flowing. And down. 1 more time. Lifting up. And then lower your hips and release. So now we're going to turn onto our tummy and bring the ring with us. So you can stretch out on the mat. Yep. And take the ring just to the side of your hips. And then before we do anything else, let's grab hold of the left ankle, give it a quick stretch. By stretch, I mean for the quad, by holding the ankle, keeping the knees close to one another, and then reaching the left knee towards your big toe on the right foot, lifting your abdominals and feeling the front of your hips melt into the mat. And then kick your foot a little bit more powerfully into your hand. Let your head hover and your shoulders stretch back. Start to bring your chest forward. And then lower down. Release. Switching sides. Grab that right ankle. Hover your forehead or rest it on your left hand. Keep your right knee pulled in towards your midline. And then also stretch it as if it could touch the right or the left big toe. And then kick your foot into your hand. Let it hover your head. Bring your shoulder back and draw you into this nice chest forward, lifted position that stretches the front of the body. And then lower back down. And then stretch your leg long. Take your hands to the mat just either side of your shoulders and reach your heart forward. Taking this into a little mini swan. And then lower down. Now take the ring behind your back, float it around hip level. Legs can be long, a little bit apart, and super active as you then stretch the ring off the hips and reach the arms back. Reach the shoulders back and your chest forward and come up from there and lift into that ring. Pull the abdominals deeper into your spine and shrug the shoulders down away from the ears. Your eyes are on the mat so as to not kink the back of the neck. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Awesome job. Take the ring now to the front of the mat with you. Press into the hands coming up. We'll start first with a little cat-cow to help remind your spine of all the yummy potential. So I have my hands and knees a little closer together than maybe usual.
You can try this as well, and rounding from there can help you feel into like just some different stretches, different curves of the spine. And then walking the hands forward, we're going to position the ring right in front of our chest. So this is to give us an assist in push-ups. If you love it, keep it. If you hate it, you can ditch it. But you're going to put it so that it's right at the sternum vertically, and then position your hands alongside it, a little in front. Now, lift up out of the wrist, but notice if you straighten your arms fully, you might lose contact with the ring. So you'll do what you need to keep contact, but feel into those shoulders. Drop the shoulders down, step one foot back and the other. If you want to do this on your knees, you can. And then straighten out. And first press the thighs, the backs of the thighs towards the ceiling. Lift the abdominals, really find those legs. And then begin to move. Bend and straighten. And only go as deeply as you like. And maybe you do 2, maybe you do 7. It's all up to you. I'm going to do 2 more. And 1. And then land the knees down. Let the ring step out of the picture and take yourself into a downward dog. Alternatives would be child's pose. You're very welcome to go there. In downward dog, downward dog. Walk out your feet with a little running in place. And then let your hips get a little bit more gooey here as you bend one knee. Let the opposite hip stretch up and back. And then what we're going to do is take your, let's start with the left leg, up to the sky. And we're going to bring it forward into a pigeon stretch. Some of you I know prefer to do a figure 4 stretch. So you can switch to that now, rolling onto your back. But we're going to find a position where we can stretch into that left glute. So your knee is towards the left hand, your foot is towards the right hip. And you can use your back foot kind of to help walk you back a little bit, further stretching into that left glute. And then if it feels like it's calling to you to melt over that front leg, you can just bow inward. And then from there, without rushing, we'll make our way up to both hands on the mat. Toes tucked under on the back foot, and let's see if we can step right back into our 3-legged dog and then lower the foot to the mat. We'll take the right leg up and then bend the knee, bring it forward and through. So now the knee is to the right hand, the toes and heel are to the left hip, and we kind of wiggle or walk our way back. And then stay for a few breaths upright, feeling into the stretch there. And then you can melt forward and down. Hands resting, or head resting on your hands, or anywhere really that feels just like the perfect fit. Okay, we're going to take our hands under the chest, under the shoulders, lift up. Find your way from your pigeon stretch into your 3-legged dog, and then we'll all meet in downward dog. And then from there, we're going to walk our feet towards our hands. You can bend your knees as much as you need to, but keeping your legs straight will challenge the flexibility of those hammies. It's completely just a fun challenge when you can, but if that's not an option, you're going to do what works in your body. And then fold your arms and hold your elbows. Soften your knees and just drape your spine over your thighs. And then sit your booty down towards your heels into a squat, but keep your heels down. And then reach your arms forward. Keep your hips right where they are. Don't let them come up, but lift your ribs off of your thighs. So you create more space here. Hold there and hover. Shoulders down, soft through the neck. And then pause there and see if you can rock forward onto your toes. Breathe in. On the exhale, slowly rise up. Staying very centered and focused. Wobbles are part of life, so we'll just respond with focus and ease. At the top, reach your arms up to the sky. Keep reaching and lower your heels to the mat. Circle your arms wide and down. From here, just reach your hands behind you, take your hands together, interlace, let the shoulders be stretched back once more. Let your head drop to one side, and then just roll across the chest to the other side. And then drop the chin to your chest. Take your arms, release them, reach them up. And here we come, palms together to this moment we worked hard to get to. We're gonna finish here with our hands at our heart, feeling tall and strong and balanced. Awesome work, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well done. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had a great experience in class. I hope your shoulders feel relaxed and happy and strong. I hope your hips feel fluid in your low back. In combination with that feels really great as well. And I'd love to hear your feedback. So comment below if you have anything to share with me. Also, subscribe to my channel so you can be notified when new videos are made available. And you can follow me on Instagram at Arwen Brooke _Pilates. And I hope to see you soon. Thanks.